Hello everyone and welcome to Smart Coach. Today we are going to talk about the titles that Gupta emperors took. Now let me write the topic down. We are talking about Gupta Empire and the lofty title that these emperors took. Now, why are we talking about these titles? First of all, in prelims, you might be asked that if who took the title of Vikramanka, or who was tagged as Kaviraj, or who took the title of Vikramaditya. Now, these kind of questions, they come in prelims, but if you look into mains is also becoming very analytical. So, you may expect a question, the lofty titles of Gupta Empire, what does it actually suggest? Why did they take this lofty title? Now, as in when I discuss the title of each ruler, I will explain why these lofty titles became necessary. And if you remember, there is a question for you, who introduced such lofty titles? Who were the first king to take such lofty title? Well, if you look into the history, the titles were there. Even Ashoka took a lofty title of Devanam Piya Piyadasi. So, such lofty titles for centuries have been taken by ruler. What could be the reason? The first reason was to show or propagate his interest or what he wanted to suggest. Maybe he wanted to suggest that he is a sovereign of many countries and he is no more a vassal state. So, you will see the first two rulers, Sri Gupta, who was obviously the earliest ruler, and Ghatotkacha. These two rulers, they had to somehow, they had to be satisfied with title of Maharaja. They took the title of Maharaja, but nothing more loftier than that. Most probably during Sri Gupta or Ghatotkacha, these rulers were able to establish their empire as a separate independent country instead of a vassal state. So, maybe they just came out of vassalitude or servitude of a mighty empire, maybe Sakas, it could have been Sakas, or it could have been Satavahanas or any other mighty power which was ruling India. And then once they marked their freedom, they took the title of Maharaja. Then the next king, that is Chandragupta I, is seen to be the real founder of the Gupta Empire. So, what title did Chandragupta took? So, let me write. He took the title of Maharaja Dhiraj. So, if you remember, Chandragupta I is known as real founder because through matrimonial ties, he had extended his power. He had married Kumar Devi, who was from Lichvi clans, and Lichvis were one of the ancient clans of India, one of the ancient royal families of India. So, obviously, Chandragupta must have increased his power, and even in his coins, we see him depicting himself with with Kumar Devi, the queen, who had brought lot of repute for him. So, Chandragupta I pursued the policy of matrimonial ties to rapidly expand his area of influence, and obviously, we see a change in title as well. So, it suggests that Gupta emperors are spontaneously becoming more and more sovereign and powerful. Now, the third important ruler was Samudragupta, who has been tagged as Napoleon of East. Why? Because as per Allahabad pillar inscription or Prayag Prashasti, Samudragupta was a ruler who had almost conquered half of India, and not only that, he had sent campaigns to foreign countries and he had defeated them as well, including Sri Lanka. One of the foreign countries was Sri Lanka. As such, when we look into Samudragupta's title, he took lofty title. One of the title is Vikramanka. And when you look into this word, Vikramanka or Vikramajit are those kings who said to have conquered 7 worlds. So these people are known as Vikramanka. It can be associated with the English nomenclature of empire or emperor. Okay, so it is almost similar to calling himself emperor. So most probably by the time we come to Samudragupta, he had defeated many territories and he had brought many vassal state under his control. As such, he was Samanta Adhikari, or the ruler of these vassal states or Samantas. At the same time, we see his growth politically and in religious way when he also organized Ashwamedh Yagna. Now, if you look into the Vedic ritual, Ashwamedh Yagna is also associated, it is not a religious ritual, it is associated with the politics of the state as well. In such a yagna, a horse is let loose, and wherever it enters, that territory has to accept the servitude of the emperor who has allowed the horse to let go, or they have to fight with the emperor. Obviously, in most cases, the territories had to accept the servitude, because this showed, Ashwamedh Yagna in itself showed the kind of power a king possess. So obviously, after Ashwamedh Yagna, you see him taking titles such as, so we see names or titles such as Ashwamedh Parakram Vikram. Now this title is found in Allahabad pillar. So you know that he has performed Ashwamedh Yagna. As such, he has taken the title and he is suggesting that he has performed Ashwamedh Yagna. But at the same time, such yagnas are associated with the Hindu rituals or Vedic rituals. You also see certain title which shows him as a great devotee. Now copper plate inscription calls him Param Bhagavata. This is Nalanda copper plate inscription. It calls him Param Bhagavata, which shows that his devotion to the God and how he is a devotee of God Vishnu or Lord Vishnu. At the same time, we also know that Garuda and Lakshmi were very important images which were used in coins. When we talk about coins, we have found coins associated with Samudragupta, where he is given the title of Sarvaraj Uchcheta, means and this is written in his coins. So it says that he is destroyer of all the kingdoms. So these are the titles which are associated with Samudragupta, and we understand that each title had certain meaning. Now here I want to make one thing clear. If somebody asks you whether Kaviraj was a title of Samudragupta or not, we cannot ascertain that, because he was called Kaviraj by Harisena in Prayag Prashasti, but it does not mean that it was a title that Samudragupta adopted. Whereas titles are concerned, they will either be mentioned in the inscription or in the coin, or the king will proclaim it as one of his title. After Samudragupta, we will see all the Gupta rulers who came, they took loftier titles. Now the next king who came was Chandragupta II. He took the title of Sakari. Vikramaditya, Param Bhagavata, and Narendra Chandra. Bhagavata and Narendra Chandra. So, you can see after Samudragupta, all the titles which are being adopted by the Gupta emperor, they are becoming loftier, they are becoming, they are suggesting the authority of Gupta emperor, which is increasing. So, he is not only Vikramanka or Vikramaditya, but he is also Narendra Chandra. Narendra is a higher epitome, or if you call someone emperor, so Narendra is emperor's emperor. So, he is Narendra Chandra. Okay. So, these are the title, loftier title which were taken. Now, when we talk about the next ruler, Kumar Gupta, perhaps he took the largest number of title under his name, and these titles were, he took the title, and now Kumar Gupta took titles such as Mahendraditya, Shri Mahendra, and many more. He took many titles starting with Mahendra and Mahendraditya. So, let me just make it prominent for you. So, Narendra Chandra, Mahendraditya, Shri Mahendra, all these were titles that were taken by Kumar Gupta, and he also called himself with many more names. Remember, he was actually he was a king who introduced the worshipping of Kartikeya in Gupta Empire. So, he also took the title of Kumaraditya. So, all these title and the largest number of title were adopted by Kumar Gupta. The last important Gupta ruler, Skanda Gupta, this is Kumar Gupta I, and the last important ruler was Skanda Gupta. He took titles such as Vikramaditya, Devraj, and Sakapan. These were the titles that Skanda Gupta took. So, after this, though we see the Gupta rulers take assumed title, but their power somehow deteriorated, and we do not see any coin which would suggest their growth. Maybe title was a way to show their power to their vassal state, but with the destruction of their own power or political authority over these vassal states, the loftier title also shrinked, and at most we see that these titles were not associated anymore with the later Guptas. So, this is all about the title of Gupta Empire. In next chapter, in next class, we will meet with another topic.